Hi, how are you? I think they'll start. Is the person online? Okay, good. I think they'll start now. How are you? All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to switch things around a little bit. Before we get to the briefing by the spokesperson, Stéphane Dujarric, we will start with our humanitarian coordinator and resident coordinator for Sudan, Denise Brown, who will be speaking to you on the third anniversary of the start of the fighting there. Let's pull her up to the screen and see whether we can get her here for you. Oh, there you are. Hi, Denise. Nice to see you. Great. Please, you have the floor.
Okay. Thanks very much. And we have an electricity problem here, so thanks for letting us start. You know, as we finish the third year of the war, I wanted to comment that we really are on repeat in the Sudan. Repeats of sexual violence, repeated displacements, repeated deaths. So, you know, it feels like we're stuck in this cycle and everything is being repeated. As you know, the Office of Human Rights, OHCHR, has documented some very important findings. First of all, on the patterns of sexual violence. I've spoken to you about that before. I've spoken to many of the media outlets about this. It's well documented. Rape and gang rape. You will have seen MSF's report for Darfur a few weeks ago entitled No Safe Space Left for Women and Girls in Darfur. And they've treated over the past year close to 2,500 survivors of sexual violence. So patterns established, and these women and girls are feeling the consequences of this. And what we also need to be addressing here is the impregnation of these women and girls and the consequences for them, for the families, for the communities, and of course, most particularly for these children. Second of all, as you know, OHCHR documented the atrocities, the mass atrocities around El Fasher. 6,000 people killed in 3 days, and that's only what we could verify. We actually believe the number is much higher. And of course, lastly, the UN Independent Fact-Finding Mission for the Sudan refers now to the hallmarks of genocide. So, you know, as I go through all of that with you, and we're in the UN speaking openly about you know, the atrocities, the repeat of the atrocities, the question is, why isn't the world outraged enough to do something about it? It's what has to happen more? What more has to happen for everyone to sit up and pay attention to find a solution? Prevention is the key here, preventing these atrocities. We need to look at, the member states need to look at the war economy, the resources that are being used, and the flow of the weapons in order really to find a solution to this war. As a humanitarian community, we're here, we're present. I'm in Khartoum today. We have big teams all over the country between the UN, the international NGOs, and the national NGOs. But we are, and I've said it before, we are here picking up the pieces. We are not the solution. And I feel like there is such a huge amount of time and attention spent on the humanitarian crisis by those who perhaps could be looking at a pathway to peace. Our areas of concern right now, Dillinge, I was in Dillinge in March. We were there when the town was attacked. It's under daily attacks right now. Our convoys are not able to get in. We know the people who remained, who I spoke to in March, are trying to leave. Again, another call for safe passage for these people. And of course, you will have seen what's happening in the Blue Nile. I'm headed there this week. Close to 30,000 people displaced by the conflict. So, you know, you've heard me say this so many times. Again, we are on repeat in the Sudan. I just want to finish with, we were 35% funded in 2025. And now in 2026, we need $2.9 billion, and that's really hyper-prioritized. We are 16% funded. And understand that when we get a tent, that tent, I don't have a magic wand, that tent doesn't become 6 tents, that tent is 1 tent. So imagine what we are able to do with 16% of what we need. I am very grateful to the donors, but it's also true that this is the largest, most complex emergency, and we really need there to be a huge focus on finding a solution. And while they're looking for that solution, to fund so that the bare necessities of what the people of Sudan need are met. And a plea from me, please don't call this a forgotten crisis. I'm referring to this as an abandoned crisis. And those are just the quick comments I wanted to make beforehand before I lose the light and electricity. Back to you.
Okay, great. Thanks very much. We'll now turn to questions. Hopefully we'll have enough electricity for a few of them. Ibtitham.
Thank you. My name is Ibtissam Azim, Al-Arabi Al-Jadid newspaper. You talked about, in context of rape and killing, you talked about prevention and accountability. How should this look like? Thank you.
Yeah, this should look like a concerted effort from the member states of the UN to focus on what I spoke about earlier. What are the resources being used to fuel this war? What about the Security Council resolution with the arms embargo for Darfur? What efforts are being made, huge efforts being made, like we, the humanitarian community, are working hard here in the Sudan to find solutions for the day-to-day needs. So I'm not a member state, and I won't say what it looks like, but what I'm trying to do is frame the problem so that we start talking about the real solution and not just talking about solutions for the access issues that I have, which of course we have. And we struggle with this every single day, but we're here on the ground struggling with it. And we'd like to see a concerted effort from member states.
Okay, Ephraim?
Thank you so much, Ephraim Kosaifi with Arab News Daily. Last time we spoke, you were, I remember, desperate to get convoys into Dillinj. This has happened. I wonder, what is now your next worry? What are the areas that you feel are the most important to get into right now? What is being done to allow access? And what are your fears concerning those areas that we're practically hearing nothing from?
Thank you. We spoke several weeks ago, and we've just gotten our first convoys into Dillinj convoys, enough convoys to support the population in 3 years. And then I went in myself in March, and then the town was attacked. Now our convoys are no longer able to get in. We're super concerned about Dillinj. The people that I met there who are now trying to flee, the children who were still there with their families now trying to flee. There is no safe passage out. It's being bombarded every single day. I'm on my way to El Obeid, North Kordofan in a few days. We're going to see what more we can do on the access side. So, I would have no access problems if the war stopped, right? So this whole conversation around how do we improve access? How do we help her, the HC, to improve access? It's please focus on a pathway to peace. Focus on those big issues.
Yes, thank you. And one more. This special envoy of the Secretary General has been engaged these past couple of weeks. He even met with the head of the RSF, and I'm just wondering if any of these engagements, do you see any effect of these engagements on the ground yet in your work?
Well, thank you very much. The personal envoy, as you know, was just appointed. He's still, as I understand, doing his rounds. We saw him here in Sudan, and we look forward to supporting him in his work and hopefully making a difference. But I think he would need to answer the specifics of that question, Ephraim.
Okay. Edie?
Hi, Ms. Brown. On behalf of the United Nations Correspondents Association, a belated welcome to you. I was listening upstairs. My question is, as we head into year 4, what do you see as prospects for actually ending this conflict? And what are the real implications for the Sudanese people if this goes on for another year?
Thank you. I mean, I hope I have been able to outline to you, however briefly today, the actual consequences. And we see no slowing down. The systematic widespread sexual violence, particularly in Darfur, we have no reason to believe that that will stop. No reason at all to believe it will stop. The mass atrocities that we saw in Al Fasher, and we still don't know the true number of people who have been killed, those who have disappeared, those who are being detained. So I think the longer this goes on, the deeper that hole becomes for the people of Sudan. But I would say that, you know, the shining light in all of this is the work that goes on at community levels by these communities who are determined not to get caught up in hatred, hate speech, and, you know, we're starting to work where we can with different organizations, different communities who are working on localized peace initiatives. And I think, to be frank, I think that that's where we will see progress, and we intend to do more to support them while the global efforts are ongoing.
Okay, I see no further questions in the room. If there are no questions online, I would like once more to thank our guest, the resident and humanitarian coordinator for Sudan, Denise Brown. Thanks very, very much. And
thank you. Bye.
Thanks. And for those of you in the room, please stay on for a second, and we will get shortly a briefing by the spokesperson, Stéphane Dujarric.
Was nice, but nothing crazy. But it's nice. My one friend found a house that we are house sitting for a week from Friday on, because a friend is like going on vacation and they want us to go upstate and set the house for free. And we're like, yeah, sure, we're doing that. Yes, it is. I mean, like, I will work from there, but like, as I don't have to do it every day. Obviously, it doesn't matter. But I'm getting my own workplace now. I don't know how totally I saw a powerful bike rack. He said I should come by tomorrow. So I think I get space, which is great.
That's exciting.
Yes. Finally, I can get like a bigger screen there and like work there properly, not just on my laptop. You know, it's like annoying. Just like one. And I don't need two anymore, but one big one is important. Yeah, it makes really a difference.
It's great listening to the callous competence going after each other.
That was today?
Yeah.
Ah, nice. I like Callus. She's cool.
She's good.
It's good. Meanwhile, I'm writing a newsletter about insanity in politics. I mean, I bet you know it because you might have reported about it. The madman theory of Nixon and all of this.
Yeah.
Madman. Well, it's basically what Donald Trump does as well. Like, if you're unpredictable and everybody thinks you're crazy, you might get the upper hand in negotiations because people are really scared of you.
Right.
On the other hand, in the nuclear age, this can be counterproductive because you actually need somebody you can trust that they wouldn't like attack you with nuclear weapons. Otherwise, you're thinking, oh, then there is no incentive for me not to use it when they are so crazy that they will commit suicide and maybe I should do it. Like, you know, it's like it's a very fine line. It's very interesting actually. Yeah, that's what I make my. Yes, sure, but like, it,
That was a more clearly defined nuclear age because
absolutely. And like this is, in that sense, maybe what the article that I just read says is like you need to walk a fine line to be crazy enough so people think you're like able to do anything, but not as crazy as they would believe you would, like, for example, not cherish a deal that you made then, because otherwise there is no incentive for them to actually bow to you when they think like, oh, that person will not even like stick to the agreement.
Right.
I think it goes also for like you can be crazy, but not as crazy as people would think that you're actually using the forms. But like, I don't know. I'm just in the beginning of my research, so we'll keep you updated. Sounds a lot like last week.